Hey, what's going on, guys? Nate here with Hustle Buddies, bringing you tools, tips, and advice for Amazon sellers. Now, in today's video, we're going to be talking more about FBM, or Merchant Fulfilling Items. I'm going to be talking about some of the basics regarding it. I'm going to be talking about why sometimes you would want to choose this option. And then I'm going to go over the 7 most common shipping methods that we use in our business for FBM. Stay tuned. All right, what's going on, guys? Again, Nate here. We do all these tools, tips, and advice videos for Amazon sellers. This is what our channel's about. If you like this stuff, don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. But I want to really break down today some more specifics about merchant fulfilling items. This has been a huge topic over in our Facebook group. And I want to provide a little bit more info. Now, we did a video a couple months back that was like a very broad overview when we had just started. I've learned a few more things since then, and I want to share that with you guys. So, for those of you who are not aware, there are basically 2 different methods for selling on Amazon. You can sell things FBA, fulfilled by Amazon, or FBM, fulfilled by merchant, okay? When things are fulfilled FBA, I'm basically putting 100 things into one giant box, I'm shipping it to the Amazon warehouse, and they are fulfilling the individual orders. With FBM, it's more like the eBay model, where I might have a pile of stuff, like that pile of stuff behind me, and I am fulfilling each individual order as the customer orders it. So every shirt, every bottle of shampoo, every soap, whatever it is, it's all going in its own specific box, and it's going directly from me to the customer, okay? Now, a lot of people have been asking us, like, why do you choose FBM over FBA? Why do you choose FBA over FBM? Which one's better? Which one's worse? All things like this. And I want to say that there is no, like, this is always better than this. It doesn't work like that. And you also don't even have to choose between them. You can do both FBA and FBM. You can even do the same item. Like, if I have 2 phones like this, I can ship one FBA and I can ship one FBM, and that's completely fine, okay? So you don't necessarily have to choose one or the other, but there are some general reasons why we see people choose one way or the other. So, in general, FBA tends to be more scalable because I can ship 100 things in one box a lot faster than I can ship 100 things in 100 boxes, if that makes sense. Now, sometimes you will see when you're crunching the numbers that you will make more money FBM. That's usually to be expected because if Amazon is doing less work, Amazon's going to take a smaller cut of your money. So instead of taking, I don't know, like the 30% like FBA, well, they're only taking about 15% for FBM, okay? And again, you're doing a lot more work, you're doing more of the shipping, things like that. Another big reason why we see people do FBM is because maybe FBA is backed up. We've seen this during like this whole pandemic, where things are taking a month to check into the Amazon warehouse, and then Amazon's taking another month to actually ship it out to the customers, and everything is all backed up. And so if I want to get this phone to someone very, very quickly, I can list it as FBM today, I can sell it in 5 minutes, I can put it in a box, and I can ship it in an hour, and the customer will have it in a day or 2, okay? So if you really want to get things out to your customers fast, and you really want to turn your inventory over very quickly, FBM is going to be a huge part of that, okay? Another reason why we see a lot more people doing FBM, and I think it's going to continue in this way, is because of the recent Amazon news regarding the inventory limits that they're going to be imposing during the 4th quarter. I don't want to go into that. If you guys are curious about the news, you can watch the previous video where I talked about this, but basically Amazon's going to be limiting how much FBA stuff can be shipped out. So with that said, I think a lot more people are going to be moving into FBM and continuing doing FBM going into Q4. Now, doing merchant fulfilled shipments during Q4 has always been a gold mine. I mean, if you can imagine, like, so Black Friday, for example, you could go to a store like Target, and often they'll have things like buy one, get one free for video games. So it's 50% off, basically. I mean, you'll see people in stores where they're putting things in their cart, they're listing it while it's in their cart, and it's selling before they even leave the store. Now, I do want to pause here. Do not ever list something that you do not actually have, okay? That's very important. That's a big mistake we've seen some people make. So I don't want you to list anything that you don't actually have in your cart. I think it's an okay risk having, like, listing something that's in your cart already, but don't list something if you're like at home and you're like, oh, I think my store has this new Call of Duty game. Don't do that because it's probably going to be sold out by the time you get there, okay? But we see this a lot with merchant fulfilling during Q4. You can list stuff, you can sell it that day, you can sell it within minutes of listing something. Whatever the hot toy is, I mean, the stuff is just flying out so fast. Also, we see this especially like in the week or two leading up to Christmas. You can't get an FBA shipment out of your house, into the warehouse, checked into the warehouse, sold, shipped to the customer within a week. So if it's a week before Christmas, well, FBA is no longer going to be getting to your customers. You have to list FBM if it's like the week before Christmas, or else expect your product to get to your customer after Christmas, okay? If you want to list something the week before Christmas, it basically has to be FBM in order to get to your customer before Christmas. So those are some of the reasons why we see people do FBM. As far as the most common boxes, I do want to break this down for you guys, because again, I mean, people are asking us this all the time, like, what do you guys use? What's the most common boxes I should get? What supplies do I need and all of that? And really, FBM is awesome because nearly all of your supplies are free. All of these boxes, like this entire stack of things that I just picked up, every single one of these options is free from USPS, okay? So just go to USPS.com, go to their like order supplies section and pick up some of these boxes. I wanna show you guys the 7 most common options that we use. And again, this is just for the items that we have. So if you're selling, I don't know, giant inflatable tubs, well, you're probably going to have different standard boxes than we do, okay? But these are just the ones that we use and when I use them. So first off, we have the medium flat rate box. This is super common. This will cost you just a flat rate. It's about 13 bucks. It doesn't matter where it's going. It doesn't matter how heavy this is. If it fits, it ships, okay? So this is what we would use for real heavy stuff. If you're selling a box of rocks, this is the box you're sending those rocks in, okay? So this is good for heavy stuff, things like liquids, all of that. Or sometimes if you're selling it really far. We live in Florida, so if we're shipping to, say, like Northern California or something like that, oftentimes that is actually our cheapest option because it's a flat rate. It doesn't matter where it's going, all right? So that's a really common one that we use. These two are another really common option. So these are just the priority boxes. Note, they are not priority flat rate boxes. You can't ship a flat rate thing in a non-flat rate, and you can't ship non-flat rate in a flat rate box, okay? It'll get messed up and your customer will be angry, okay? So these are just priority boxes. This is the priority shoe box. This is probably our most used box right here overall, just because of the size. Now, you can ship shoes, but you can ship anything you want. Just because it's called a shoe box doesn't mean you have to ship a shoe in it. We ship all sorts of things, especially like we sell a lot of like snack cakes that have really long, skinny boxes. It's a grocery item. Well, we can fit usually 2 to 3 inside of this. So this is awesome. Shipping for this will usually come to between like $8.50 to about $12, depending on where it's going. Then you've got the small version of that. I mean, it's basically the same thing. It's basically going to cost you the same amount, but it's just the smaller version. So if you've got some more smaller breakable things, you don't want them bouncing around a giant box, use this small priority box. All right, so those are great options. And again, about $8 to $12-ish. This is another common one that we use a lot. This is the regional rate A box, okay? This is usually just a little bit cheaper than those other ones depending on where you're shipping it to. It's a little bit smaller than the flat rate box, a little bit bigger than that small priority box. It's kind of in between. I do want to note this is extremely thin. You can't really see it on the camera, like comparing these two boxes. This box looks and feels like cardboard. This box looks and feels like almost really, really thick paper. I mean, there's almost nothing to this. So if you're shipping fragile things, I wouldn't suggest this box. But if you're shipping like a pair of pants or something like that, this may be a decent option, again, depending on where it's going. So the regional rate A box. Then the last USPS thing that we use a ton of is the flat rate bubble envelope, okay? Now you don't want to send things that are crushable. Like if you have a bottle of syrup, I do not recommend sending it in this because this is going to get flattened and there's going to be syrup everywhere. But again, with this, it's a flat rate. So this will cost you a little over $7. It does not matter how much it weighs. It does not matter where it's shipping to. It's always going to cost that same flat rate. If it fits, it ships, okay? So if you've got some hard, indestructible things, this is going to be one of your cheapest options. The last two options are the absolute cheapest, but these only work if your item weighs less than 1 pound. If your item weighs less than 1 pound, you can ship first class, okay? So we've got, I use a lot of these like 6x6x6 boxes. You can pick these up from Walmart. You can order these online from eBay. I mean, they'll cost you about 50 cents a box, roughly, depending on where you're getting them from. But these are great. They're super cheap, and first class usually costs under $5. Sometimes a little bit over, but around there. So first class is great. Same thing with this, small envelopes. So like little packets of things we will sell in this. Again, you don't want to put anything that's like crushable, but if you're selling, I don't know, like a packet of tomato seeds, for example, this is perfect because obviously that weighs less than a pound. You're going to be paying like $3 for that, okay? So those are the most common boxes we use. Again, most of those you just order them from USPS. They're free. These two first class options you can order them online. You can get them from Walmart if you're just doing a couple. But those are the most common options. I want you guys to drop a comment below. What are some of the like FBM tricks or FBM, I guess, habits that you have formed if you're currently doing FBM? And if you're not doing FBM, what are some FBM related questions that I can help answer in a subsequent video, all right? Again, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know how you guys are doing, and we'll see you out there. Hustle on, guys.